So what are the various steps involved in additive manufacturing? Now basically additive manufacturing, as we discussed earlier, involves addition of material layer by layer. Now the entire additive manufacturing process is controlled through computers because the requirement of accuracy is very high. Usually the motion of the manufacturing system is controlled through programs which are generated through special softwares. So what is the input? Input is basically a CAD model. So whatever component you want to produce, you have to create a CAD file. So far the conventional format is to save it as a STL file. So in the STL file, what happens is whatever geometry you are created, it will be divided into smaller and smaller triangles, that is a tessellation, and then the information about the various surfaces will be stored in it, and this particular file will be used for the final creation of the program using which the components will be produced. So the first step involves the creation of the component which needs to be produced. So in this figure you can see we want to create a cup which is having a handle. Then we have to do the tessellation of the geometric model, which means it is similar to meshing of the geometric model or creating it into triangles so that it can be read by the software for creating the program for manufacture. The next important step is the slicing. Now this is what decides how the material will be added. So if you are taking this particular mug shown in the figure and we are using a slicing plane and we are trying to cut this particular mug. Now question is, where should the material be added? So the material should be added in the thin ring here that forms the cup profile and the small circular profile here which forms the handle. In all the other areas we don't want any material to be added. So as the slicing plane moves upward, more or less it is going to remain the same, but when it comes up to the topmost point, you are having the handle portion, it will come something like that. That is where the material is added. If you are moving it completely downwards, you have a closed base, so the entire circular profile have to be filled with the material, or you have to add the material. The connection to the handle also has to be made. So that is how the slicing will be done. So whatever component is given, you are dividing it into several layers. Now we will see how exactly this is done using a slicing software. One of the freely available softwares for slicing is Cura. Other one is Slicer, SLIC3R. So you can say this is a table like component which we want to do the slicing. So if you are cutting over here, you will be seeing two portions where material has to be added. If you are coming to the top, we want this entire area is where the material has to be added. So if we come here, if we say layers, you can see there is layer 1 and layer 120, which means there are 120 layers are there, and in each and every layer you can see the material added. So in this area only this much area material is added over here, and here only in this area the material is added. So that is the bottommost portion, only here the material is added, and here only in this area the material is added. So now it is possible to increase the number of layers, it is possible to decrease the number of layers. All these options are available. So it is also possible to make the component completely hollow. So you can see here a mesh type structure is there. So this is all done to reduce the weight while keeping the strength intact. So all these various options are available. That is not a requirement of the subject. We will deal with it separately. We will take another component and see how the layers will be done. We will take another component So you can see this is like a fan blade, or you can say it is a impeller. And if we want to do the layers, it will take some time for doing the computations. So all the layers are built. So if we are going to the bottommost portion, you can see only this area the material needs to be added. And if we are moving upwards, you can see the layers where exactly the material has to be added. In all the other portions, there is no need for any addition of material. So this is dividing the CAD model into individual layers. So this is called as a slicing, and you are having commercially available softwares which are free and which are having a license. In licensed version, you will be having plenty of options. In free softwares, the number of options available will be limited, but they are good enough for producing components. Then after the slicing is done, the important thing to remember is the support structures. So what are the support structures? So whenever we are adding material, the material should remain in position. If the design of the component is such that the material will not remain in its position but falls down because of gravity, then we have to provide a support structure. Let me again take the example of this table. So now if I am adding material at these legs, there is sufficient support, that is a table. If you are considering this as a table on top of which I am trying to build this component, if I am adding material in this region, at the bottom there is no issue. As I move upwards, and if I am adding material in this region and in this region, there is no problem. But if I am trying to add, there is no problem. But when I am taking this particular layer over here, if I am trying to add material here, there is no problem. But if I am trying to add material in this region, this material is going to fall down. So how can I avoid the material here from falling downwards? So that is what we are having something called as support structure. So now you can see some gray colored material which has come over here. So this material also has to be built so that when you are coming to this particular layer, you are having sufficient supports so that you are able to build the material. This is just like while you are building your house, you don't require any supports for building your walls. But if you are trying to construct your roof, you are putting the scaffolding so that the concrete remains in position. This is more or less similar to that. So these support structures have to be built. So if you are taking the bottommost layer, you can see there is some support material also has to be added whenever you are building the bottommost layers. So there are softwares options available by which you can reduce the amount of support material, because that is a wastage. So minimizing it is an optimization process. There are several softwares available in which there are options are available using which it is possible to reduce the amount of support material. But it is important to understand why support material is required. So usually surfaces which are perfectly vertical, support is not required, but surfaces which are horizontal, below them the support is required. If a surface is up to 45 degrees from the horizontal, beyond that there is no support required. If it is less than that, definitely support is required. So if an surface is inclined at any angle less than 45 degrees with respect to the horizontal, then support structure is required. If you are measuring the angle from the vertical, if the angle is less than 45 degrees, there is no support required. If it is more than 45, support structure is required. Otherwise, because of gravity, the material is going to fall down. And the need for support structure is different for different additive manufacturing processes. Some of them require additional support structures, some of them don't want any additional support structures. So this is the basic idea regarding the support structures requirement in additive manufacturing process. Then the next step is the support structure. So the software itself will compute the support structure requirement, how exactly the support structure has to be created, and there are options available to minimize the amount of support structure. So here we can see the way in which we are fabricating it also is very important, how the layers are there. Also depending on the layers, the support structures may be eliminated. So let us again go back. Is there any method by which we are able to produce this particular component without the need for support structures? Yes, there are many ways available. Let us see a few of them. So I will say support none, which means there will not be any support structures over there. So I will go to normal. So let me tilt this component. So if I am rotating it like that, so now if I am doing the layering, whether any support is required? No, because from bottommost layer to the topmost layer it is coming vertically, so without any support it is possible to manufacture it. Next, is there any other position available? If we think, yes, there are more positions available. So if you are arranging your component like that in this particular fashion, then if we see the layers, first we will understand the layers. So in the bottommost layer you are having the entire top surface of the table in which the material is added. As you are moving upwards, you can see the two legs when they are added, they are present on this surface. So there is no required for any support. Even if you say put that thing also, there is no gray color indicating there is no need for any supports. So whatever the alignment of the component you decide to manufacture, sometimes it may require supports and sometimes it may not require any supports, and it is possible to minimize the amount of supports by a intelligent design. That is, by changing certain angles and certain features, it is possible to eliminate the supports, or whatever supports are created, it may be made part of the component itself, thereby reducing the wastage of the material. That is also possible. So the supports are the important features in the additive manufacturing processes. Understanding their need is very important. So now you, depending on the direction you are trying to manufacture the product, will have different properties, because the layer by layer when you are adding, the bonding between the different layers is the weakest. Within the given layer the strength will be very good, but across the different layers there is always going to be a weakness. So depending on how you are manufacturing the component, the strength of the component also is going to vary. So usually we say that additive manufacturing process, the components are usually anisotropic in nature, unless you are doing some secondary processing. If it is a metal, if you are able to completely recrystallize it, then we'll say that it is isotropic. Otherwise usually they are highly anisotropic in nature, which means in different directions the material will have different properties. So here you can see a square surface can be manufactured this way, or if it is manufactured this way. If you are manufacturing like this, you will be having several steps over here, you can see. But if you are manufacturing like that, you will be having a smooth vertical surface. The same is the case with the ellipse. If you are manufacturing like this, there will be less number of layers and the profile will be not accurate. But if you are manufacturing in the other direction, you are having more number of layers, but your profile is much more smoother. So various issues will be there for the arrangement of the component for production or before manufacturing. So careful consideration has to be done, so that special guidelines will be available. So design of component for additive manufacturing should be understood before we are slicing the component or before we apply some useful modifications. Next one is the manufacturing. So once the slicing is done, the support structures are selected. From the slicing software itself, it is possible to generate a program which will control the various movements so that the process can take place on its own. The program has to be loaded into the machine, the material has to be loaded into the machine, and once the machine is properly set up and if the program is executed, the component will be manufactured automatically. So that will be the manufacturing process. Different processes have got their own process parameters which have to be controlled carefully through the program. The next step is the post processing. So different additive manufacturing processes produce components of different characteristics. So some of the processes require additional processing for improving the strength. Some materials may require additional processing for improving the strength. And apart from that, you have to remove the support structures. You may have to do some kind of polishing for improving the surface finish. Sometimes it may require additional machining, or sometimes a simple hand filing may be sufficient. There may be painting and other activities may be required. So the post-processing operations may be simple cleaning to heat treatment and painting, depending on the product that is being manufactured. So these are the important steps that are involved in any additive manufacturing process.